Andrew, so Professor Sir John thinks April is viable for things to be getting back to normal. Do you think there'll be huge pent-up demand for live theatre? Are you optimistic about a strong second half of 2021? And what's on the cards? Do you have a new musical coming out?
Well, I have my Cinderella that should have opened 6 weeks ago, opening now in May. And I feel very, very optimistic that we will achieve those dates. I mean, I've been very, very closely involved with all of the authorities here, and also with talking every week, except for this week because of Thanksgiving, but to the Broadway League and monitoring what is going on, obviously, on your side of the Atlantic. And I am very, very positive that certainly as far as Britain is concerned, that I think that, after rather a bumpy, probably, going into January and perhaps the beginning of February, I think things will start to get a lot better. I mean, I must say, just coming back to that point the professor was making about press releases, I obviously being very interested in this for the reason of wanting to get audiences back into the theatre. I did have a look very, very, very carefully at what was the announcement of the other two vaccines and the press releases there. And it was very clear that that's exactly what they were. It was press releases that I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that either of them have yet got to the point where the regulators have actually authorised them.
No, definitely they're at different stages, Andrew, and as you said, we need to wait for all of the full data. In the meantime, I'm also fascinated by what producers like yourself, Andrew, have done during COVID times, and I know you've embraced social media emphatically. I'm sure you saw that Disney paid a lot to have a recording of a stage show in Hamilton, as opposed to needing to adapt it into a movie or a TV show specifically for TV screens as opposed to stage. Has that made you rethink what you want to do with all of your many assets and release, whether it's to Disney Plus or Netflix, recordings of the stage shows in future as opposed to adapting them fully to movies?
Well, we made available all of the movies and all of the recordings for television that were of all of my shows that we could, free during lockdown anyway, because that's something that I was the very least we could do. But I would stress one thing: I'm a theatre animal. I'm not really a cinema animal, and I don't believe you can really ever at the moment have a substitute for the live experience of that extraordinary thing when you go to the theatre and you know that performance is just for you and the other members of the audience. I just don't think you can replicate that. So whilst I do think that there is a great value in filming theatre and it's getting much, much better, my concentration has really been to get theatre back open again. I did record the whole of the album of Cinderella at home in lockdown, and with a few, now we've been able to open up a little bit in London in the last few weeks. I did actually add my cast in London and a small orchestra as well, but it reminds me a little bit of Jesus Christ Superstar 50 years ago, which I couldn't get on stage because nobody wanted to put it on stage. And so it was recorded first. And now I've had to record Cinderella first because I can't get it on stage. It's a sort of irony. But the album will come out next year. And so that, I haven't been idle in lockdown. In fact, it's been the very reverse.
Like so many of us. True fact, Wilfred and I's best ever double date was at a Phantom of the Opera production on Broadway. In New York, people miss Broadway. Huge business. A lot of jobs depend on it. It's not going to come back, we think, until summer 2021. Andrew, what is that going to look like when it does come back? Do you think there are going to be any permanent changes?
Well, I think certainly Phantom will come back. I just hope the audiences will. I mean, there are all sorts of things that can be done. I mean, there have been trials done now, which I know the FDA have been looking at very closely, of particularly one chemical that in a very small quantity, and it's a chemical that's been around for a very long time, actually since the 1940s, appears to neutralize cold and flu viruses and indeed the COVID one. But it hasn't actually been passed yet. I mean, there are so many things, and something like that would be a game changer for public transport, for any area where you're any indoor space. So I'm pretty optimistic that things will get back to normal. And I can also say that there are so many ways that Korea have proved that they could get back to normal a lot quicker even if the vaccine hadn't been on the horizon. But listen, I'm excited about the vaccine. I think we all are. And all I can say is that every time I've been to Oxford, the professionalism and the way that I have been treated, and it's not because of it being me, as I've seen it with everybody else there, has been really, really extraordinary.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.